So, how's everybody doing out there? Welcome to the hut. All right, let's get started here. Left side, dead sticking. This is Williams wobbler with a little dropper with a minnow on it. Live, very live. I'm actually going to put that on the trigger. I know I don't necessarily need to, but I'm kind of liking the way this thing works these days. Trigger is sort of like a jaw jacker. We got audio coming through here. Yeah, it's a cold one out there, but not as cold as it has been. I didn't even put the heater on in here. First off, I got to thank Ray, my neighbor, for letting me use his hut for this adventure. He gave me the key. Now I get to see how things go. All right, good to hear. Sounds good. All right, I'm gonna just show you guys my trigger mechanism here. You guys probably seen this one, Canadian Tire and whatnot. So you basically weave the line through the little groove there. Whew. And then you try not to whack yourself in the eye. Do I have a fish on or something? Let's see if we can get this thing working here. All right, sort of like setting a mouse trap. You gotta watch where your eyeballs are when you're operating that thing. Got my fish finder going on there, Striker 4. So on the other side here, gonna be throwing down a Fire Tiger vibrato here. I've got Gulp Alive baits on either end at the moment. I'm actually just gonna wait till they get a little hydrated before I pull them off the hooks because they're really good. All right, so down goes vibrato on the left and dead stick spoon on, correction, other way around. Glad to hear the feed's going through good there, Brad. Last week was a bit of a mess, so we'll see how it works. Steve, welcome to the party. So, a couple days out, I don't know if any of you guys remember, I was talking about how my ice hut, the pop-up, was frozen completely into the ice. Well, I really sweated it out, and I got it out of there. It was after a night shift, and I just decided, hey, I'm going to go and do this, or get this hut out of the ice, and it was in good. And there were a lot of times where I was like, I'm just going to give up. And then I thought to myself, I don't want to have to do this too many times. So I pulled it out. Hello from London, Ontario, Coke, Dave H. You don't happen to know a guy goes by the name of Mark Jewett, do you? He's from down in that area. He's not actually down from that area. He lives there now. He's from my area. One of my oldest friends. So I'm feeling good about this night here. I got my action camera actually set up behind me here because I feel like I'm going to catch something big. So the way I got it out, Brad, is I had to go around the entire... See, that's the excitement of that trigger thing. It got me. It may have just slipped. Oh, no, that's a fish. All right, I bet you it's a perch. Jumbo. I mean, this guy's probably 9 inches, so not the jumboest of fish. But I've got, actually, while I was pulling my hut out there, I had a dead stick running with just minnow chunks on it. And I was cleaning up on these big fat perch. I don't know if you guys, anybody here follows my Instagram, but if you do, you'd see a picture of, I caught enough for a feed, you know. I tend to just catch what I'm going to eat that night, and I'll save catching a bunch and freezing them for the end of the year. When you're right in the middle of the season, I like to just get them fresh. All right. So far, we got one perch on. He was probably the guy who set off the trigger mechanism there. And then he decided to come finish off that. You know, I might. Some escape minnows here. I might just hold both rods for fun. One person. Oh. I'm going to hold both rods for fun. And I'll turn it so you guys can see my screen here. Sorry. Okay. So, as I was saying, I had to chip all around the outside of the hut, and I had to chip all the way around the inside of the hut because it was probably under about 3 inches all around. Just a nightmare. So I chipped all around as best I could, and then I was boiling water inside the hut and pouring it from the inside chipped away area so that it flowed out underneath the skirt. I still messed up the skirt really bad. I can tell you that. There's a few holes in it because I was popping them. By accident, of course. And by the end of it, I just thought my arms were going to fall off. So it was nice to be done. But it was also a huge pain. Huge pain. Jonathan H., you asked me whereabouts on Nipissing am I? I'm between North Bay and Sturgeon Falls there along the North Shore. Well, you know what's funny is I don't even think I got that fish on my action camera. That's okay. Sometimes a lot of times I am trying to record not while I'm live streaming, but if I'm ever out ice fishing, I'm trying to record to, make fishing videos. Sometimes the live stream just works with the schedule better than anything else, because I sort of just have to show up and live stream it. Of course, it helps when you catch some fish, and so far, it's looking like fish are down there. So I've never been in this hut before. I usually use another neighbor's hut. You guys might recognize from my music video, I Cook with Ice. And last year's live streams were all through this other hut. But today I'm trying out a new one. So it's always nice to get out in a hut. I mean, I like the tents, don't get me wrong. I think those are great. Great for the purposes. They're just not that much fun when they're frozen into the ice. Okay, I'm gonna set this trigger up again. Sorry. Shuffling things around here. Oops. Yep, sorry. Sorry, everybody. Jeez. So let me make sure my minnow's still on there. This always reminds me of setting one of those classic wooden mouse traps, you know? Where you take your hands away and you're not really too sure if it's going to go off right in front of you or not. I think I'm just using a different rod than I have been using with this right now. So I think this one's a medium heavy rod, and the other rod I was using was a medium. Alright, let's try it again. All right, set, ready to go. So, you know, I've been having really good luck dead sticking the vibratos with chunks of minnow on either side, and they work really well because you got hooks. They're almost like a little mini. They're almost like a little mini spreader, if you know what I mean. It's sort of like you can put bait on either end, and they're spaced out enough that a perch or whatever can come in and just take a shot at it. I think that might be something I'm doing a lot of this year as far as experimental rigging is concerned. I'm going to put on a rattle bait because I can't resist. Rattle baits are just my favorite. So as you guys know, I don't know how closely you guys pay attention to when sunset and sunrise is, but I can tell you that the sun, I believe, is setting at 5:17 today. And we're going to be here hoping that the fish come in on time. Let's see. Yes. So I know I'm going fire tiger pretty hard today, and this is sort of like a perch fire tiger. Gonna start with that. Or not start, but proceed with. So I had this battery that went with my rigid drill that I was using to drill ice with earlier as in last year. And eventually by the end of the season I decided to make the switch to the Milwaukee Fuel M18. So this battery that I got for it was an aftermarket battery. And, whoop, there we go. Shoot. Yeah, mini perch. So there you go. Good little guy, maybe 7. I'll give him 7 inches. All right, put another minnow on there. See who shows up. See, the sweet part about that trigger unit there, same thing with the jaw jacker, is it just makes a big commotion. Kind of scares you a little bit. And then you're like, oh yeah, I've got this gizmo that I can catch fish with. Like a lot of people use this as like a tip-up kind of thing. That's cool. I guess I'm just experimenting with using it as my secondary rod, my dead stick. Okay, gonna set it up again. This one seems to be winning the prize so far today. So hopefully this rattler here on this side will draw them in. Sorry, let's see here. Yeah, sorry, Steve. Sorry, I sort of stopped paying attention to the messages for a second there. Steve's asking me, can I patch the tent? And I can tell you that yes, I can. My older tent, I used to sew it up with braided fishing line after every season because it usually got roughed up a bit. So the tent will be fine. It just won't look as pretty. It'll look more like, Frankenstein for the rest of its life now that I've mangled it up. But that's okay. Yeah, David Bennett, I agree that area is very fine. Hey Joshua, so far 2 perch, so doing a little better than usual. Hi Myra. Huh. Brad, I don't think I've ever landed a rock bass through the ice. I was hoping you were going to tell me that you caught a whack of whiteys down on Simcoe. There's definitely burbits down there. Classic J. I've been places where the burbot fishing was real intense. I've never fished in this particular hut, but I can tell you that I have caught burbot out here, but it's usually every once in a while. It's usually almost always perch, and then I'd say 80% perch, 20% walleye, 5% pike. Myra, I'm trying to think. I don't know if I can tell you how far as a bird flies I am from Calendar Bay, but I'd probably say that I've got to be 20K from there, maybe 15K. I mean, it would be a bit of a drive to get there, but it wouldn't be a direct drive. You know what, David Johnson, I've been sitting on this big stock of hots, and I've been thinking that a good idea. Oh, I had a nibble down there. I was thinking that a good idea would be to show up at like a place like Calendar Bay that's nice and busy and just set up a chair with a box of hats and just hope I can clear them. So I like that idea. There's been some big perch coming out of here, Darren. Let me tell you. I've seen some 11 and 12s come out over the last few days, but I haven't seen any. What are you asking for? 13-incher? 14-incher. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen any 14s as of late. I guarantee you they are down there, and you know it. You know it as good as I do. Yeah, so far, Dave Parent, the stream is holding up. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I know that closer to the islands out here that those burbots are around. I remember going out around the Manitous there with my brother, and we definitely caught more than one. They were all big. Like they weren't crazy huge, but they were sizable fish. Like probably 5 to 8 pounds we were catching them. I know they get way bigger than that too. Yeah, out in my area, MB Outdoors, there isn't a lot of rock piles per se. Maybe closer to shore, actually. How deep do you think those rock piles have got to be to bring in those burbs? Dave Parent, yeah, this hut has actually been lent to me by my neighbor Ray. He was very nice to let me use it, and I sincerely appreciate it. Yeah, I was thinking there, David Bennett, that I would have some kind of sign that says like I cook with ice hats or Coke machine, Coke machine for real fishing. I'd hope some people would recognize me. It's funny because a lot of times I do get recognized around town, but with all these masks we've been wearing, I can actually tell you that I don't get recognized nearly as much. It used to be like every time I went out. And now I feel like people see me and they're like, is that the Coke machine for real fishing? And then they sort of look for a bit and then be like, I can't tell, he's wearing a mask. Dave, if you are in the area, you can go to Billy Bob's Baits. You can also, if you're looking for a hot, you can also go through my Shopify store, or you can also just send me an email to forrealfishing@gmail.com, and it's $20 for the hat and the shipping. I figured out I can vacuum seal these hats and get them down real thin that I can fit them into a letter, and they'll basically ship for about $4. For about $24, I can get you your hat. And that includes shipping and tax and everything. And then as well, yeah, on Shopify, you can go through, do that as well. It's up to you. Like Shopify, whenever I use it, like it just means that Shopify is going to charge me some money for doing things, but it's not that much, Yeah, sweet. I do appreciate that. I've got to sell 16 of these hats to break even, and that's what my goal is. Just to break even. 16 in addition to the ones that I've sold already. So I'm getting there. I'm getting close. I mean, I'm not getting that close. I probably I probably have to sell it. Like I've got a bunch of people who are penciled in for hats. So I got to sell, yeah, probably 14 or 15, 14, 12, 10, something like that. The email is foreelfishing@gmail.com. If you look at any one of my ice reports and you scroll down into the description, you'll definitely find a link to my email there. Yeah, foreelfishing@gmail.com. Oh, somebody came and took a look. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. It's down there. Ah, he's bumping it. It's probably a little mini perch. Or perch of any size. So I will have to turn on a light at some point. We're right about to hit sunset. There's definitely a fish down there. What's he gonna do? See, sometimes I'm really finding using this fish finder thing, it's like I see how much the fish are attracted to the rattlers, and then how often they eventually turn their nose up at them. This guy's hanging around. Come on. Come on. Bite it. How much you guys can see here. He's down there. I think he's just a little wee tiny perch. Now, I've heard from other people fishing in the area that there's definitely been some walleye coming in. And even when I was pulling out my hut there, like, it's taken me days to pull that hut out, to be honest with you. And I did catch a few walleye one day. They're little guys, nothing, no keepers, but it's always great when you can be sort of doing something else, like trying to chip your hut out of the ice, and still fish at the same time and catch them. All right. This fish is... All right. I'm going to see if I can throw something else that catches this fish's attention. Likes the rattler. My brother always swears by the jigging wraps, and I feel like I always have them, but I never use them. So right now, that's about to change. I'm sure my brother will think that's great. You know what? I'm not actually going to throw on a jigging wrap. I'm going to throw on a similar idea. Not sure what this one's called. Oh, pardon me. It's the airplane. So it's very small. Shaped like this. Let's see how it fares. So I got a minnow on the left side, but right now I'm just going to throw this guy down, see what happens. Ooh. The trigger went off again, but doesn't feel like I got the fish. Let's see what happened. Minnow's still on. As you can see, minnow's still intact. This is the rig that's getting all the play from perch. That's not a small spoon either. Sometimes I tell you, those perch are hungry. All right, so I'm dropping both lines. Down goes the dead stick line. Should probably be feeling it as it goes down. Whew. So it's starting to cold up a little bit. I actually didn't turn on the heater just because when I came out here I didn't feel like it was necessary. All right. Jeez. Doesn't look like there's anything on there. All right. So I don't know if that just set off on its own, but no, somebody stole my minnow. I should have known. All right. Get another minnow on here. So I'm actually, since it seems like there's a fish down there, I'm just gonna hold this rod. Let's see if he comes back. Now that he's got a belly full of minnows. Okay, and this one is... Putting that down for 1 second here. Yeah, I probably should turn on the heater because it is starting to ice up in here. All right. All right. So, had a couple minnow stealers so far. Yeah, Dave, these hats are all one size, fits all the... Yeah. They're one size, fits all but the fattest of headed individuals. How fat of a head are we talking about here? David, no problem. I do appreciate the good vibes. Brad Croft. Yeah, usually this is the last bunch of perch that I caught. They all came in kind of soft. Sort of like they didn't have a lot of juice, so I was expecting small fish, but then they turned out to be some of the bigger perch that I had caught. Sometimes they'll really give you a run, you know? And other times, not as much. So I would say the little guys will come in definitely more aggressive, but yeah, as far as like feeling one that doesn't stick to the hook, I feel like I could be wrong, and probably having a camera would help, but I feel like the little perch are more prone to just knock your lure without making any contact, or maybe it would be better to say they repeatedly knock your lure without actually hooking themselves. I just assume that's a smaller fish who can't even get the hook in his mouth. I could be wrong though. Oh, no, that was ice. That was ice that time. The holes are icing up a little bit. Again, here I am thinking I should have started the heater. I guess there's nothing really stopping me from doing that, since I still have a bit of time left here. Got a little bit of space on my data plan that I need to burn up. But again, I was telling you guys about that battery. I got a guy who's getting the battery. I got to meet him up at 7, so I can't fish forever. Oh, looks like my unit just went into night mode. Sometimes I swear these fish, they just like the dead stick, eh? Like times I'll be setting up and have a very active line, and they won't want that at all. And then the second you put your rod down and let it sit for a minute, all of a sudden fish on. Okay, I'm gonna see what I can do about this heater. So, and I'm also gonna turn on a light, I think. It doesn't look too bad through the camera actually, but it's actually getting not that bright in here. All right, let's see. All right, keep an eye on those rods for me, eh? Turn on the heater here, folks, for those who are unsure of what I'm doing. Well, let's see. There's gonna be something I'm not doing right here. Alright, let's try one more time. Huh. Well, we're gonna let that propane clear a little bit there for a second. Trying to remember if Ray told me I needed to light it manually or with the clicker there. All right, back to fishing. So, just gonna check this other rig here for minnow action. I might just go ahead and set up the trigger again. Oops. Minnow's still on. It's good. You know, maybe. Yeah, you know what? Sorry, my bad. Ray, I'm pretty sure totally told me I needed to use a lighter to light this, so I'm gonna do that. Give me a sec. Okay, here's the lighter. All right. All right. Rob Brown, as far as your question about how much or how the conditions are on the lake, we've got, we had some really mild temperatures for a day, and that resulted in some soft snow, which eventually turned into a crust, which I like. I prefer that better than the soft stuff. So yeah, the wet snow turned into a crust, and oop, there we go. Fish on. What do we got? It's gotta be an eye. No, that's a nice perch. Man, perch again, eh? All right. So. That's probably a tenner. All right, get another minnow on. camera doesn't look so fresh. So the jumbos are still around. It's always a happy sight. I was thinking that was a walleye because that one was fighting a little bit better. Not to say that walleye fight particularly well, you know. All right, gonna turn on the light now. All right, I'm just gonna change up. Sorry, my tripod's so stiff there. It's definitely not the fanciest one, and it definitely gets frozen. So right now, I was gonna try to put on one of these dinner bell spoons. All right, fresh out of the package. See how this one fares. I'll put a minnow on there. So far that huge Williams Wobbler spoon with a minnow on it has been the biggest catcher of perch. All right. All right, I'm gonna send that guy down. Huh. There we go. So I think it's got to be -20 out there, maybe. Feel like that's what it's got to be. I don't know. After those really cold days, like a day that's -20, actually, it's kind of nice. It's like you don't notice skin numbing on your face while you walk around nearly as much. Ah, the trigger again. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Okay, my microphone, my mic setup here actually froze. This is a big problem, operating mics in the cold. Yeah, so I just unplugged my mic. So yeah, my battery. Wow, I tell you, these little mics are fantastic, but I'm sure you guys can still hear me through my phone mic pretty well. I think I've noticed that. I might not even need to have a wireless mic set up when I do these, since the phone's already pretty close to my face anyway. And I guess my voice seems to carry and tuck it in your beard. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if that's what I should do. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so if I don't know if anybody heard me say there about how to get the hats. You can either go through my Shopify store, and they're there, and they're sort of like a combined price. They're $21, and it includes shipping, but then you also pay tax on top of that. But the free shipping deal that goes with the other clothes doesn't apply to the hats per se, because I got to ship the hats myself, whereas all the other garments are manufactured by a separate company that ships them for me, and they have their special rates and stuff like that. Or you can contact me through forrealfishing@gmail.com, and we can set up an email money transfer or whatever. It's $20 for the hat plus $4 shipping. Now, if you buy 2 hats, it's still going to be $4 shipping. Now, if you buy more than that, I don't think I can fit that many hats into an envelope. It's a big envelope, right? But it can go regular mail. That's the good part about it. So it's funny that my regular jigging rod here hasn't seen anything. Oh, but my dead stick with the minnow and that big fat spoon is getting all the play here. So Russell Lamb, yeah, we've had quite a few perch coming in tonight. We're in a new location, courtesy of neighbor Ray. Okay. Right on, Dave. So I guess, yeah, my plan is to keep fishing till, see, sundown was 5:17. So yeah, I'll probably keep fishing till about 6. So we got 13 minutes. So I'm wondering, I feel like my trigger mechanism there is about to go off. There we go. Yeah. I think it's all right. First walleye. I give that guy 12, maybe 13 inches. So maybe they're coming in now. Sorry for all the bumping around here, guys. Let me get this guy off the hook. It's definitely not a keeper. All right. There we go. Got a 13er. Again on that dead stick with that fat spoon. Alright. So just to give you guys an impression of how big that spoon is. I'm not saying this is some miracle of fishing science, but right now it's playing out for me and I like it. But that's a big spoon. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put another minnow on, and maybe there's more wallies coming in soon. So they're definitely down there. Yeah, so I'm going to figure out what my last lure of the night's going to be here. Again, I've got that dinner bell spoon on the left with a minnow on it, but it's the big dead stick that's in and out. And since this trigger mechanism seems to be working out, I feel like I've been watching the fish chew on it. So it's not like going off right off the bat. So I think that's a slight drawback. I'm going to actually feel like my fish finder is looking at the wrong hole. It seems like, you know what? I'm pretty sure Ray told me that this hole is this corner of the hut is the one that produces all the fish. And so far, he's 100% correct on that. And that's strange. That's mysterious. It's plain out true. All right, well, let's look again here. Yeah, I'm sure. Sorry for all the bangs and pops. Uh-oh. Okay. All the bangs and pops and whatnot. It's all right. So, saying my phone needs charging, but I got the gear for that. So let's charge it up. Yeah, there's a lot of noise that goes down in an ice hut because of the way they're made. So like any kind of shuffling really carries through, no doubt, on the mic on the phone. I'm just going to let that sit. Ken, I got I think you sent me a message the other day. You said you were having trouble writing on the live stream. It looks like, I meant to get back to you there, buddy. Sorry with that. But it looks like you've figured it out here. Richard, you'll be happy to know that we actually caught some fish here tonight. There's been several perch and then one walleye. Nothing crazy, but it'd be nice if every time I came out it was like this. Like just a good, decent night. When I was catching fish while I was chipping out my ice hut there, like I was at it for 4 hours and I maybe caught 8 fish over that time, which is probably about the right amount of fish that you would want to catch while you're trying to do something else. Like if there were more fish biting, then that would probably be a problem and would impede my ability to chip out the hut. However, spread 8 fish over 4 hours and you're getting a break, every few minutes, or every so often you get a chance to catch a fish. So I'm just keeping an eye on all my stuff here, Got the one thing with that trigger mechanism, it seems to be working well. I've got it set very finely right now so that if anything taps it, it'll go off. But sometimes I can watch it jump up and down. So there's a fish on there, and probably if you were just holding the rod, you just set the hook. Anyway, I'm going to switch back here. There's my light. That's something you guys really want blasting there. Solid shop light. You can see it adds a waviness to the camera. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to end on a rattly bait here. Oh, it's like I'm missing my minnow. So I'm gonna put on my noisiest of rattle baits. I'm gonna keep going here for a bit. Probably 6:05. I'll go from there. Oh, hello. Now, I don't know about you guys. I think I probably said it before, but I used to have this massive tackle box, and there was enough space for everything to be organized. But after a while, it just became really impractical to carry the tackle box around with you every time you wanted to go fishing, right? So I ended up getting a smaller tackle box. However, it's definitely cramped in there. So cramped, not even going to show you guys. Just imagine a lot of lures, and then every time you want a lure, it's stuck to another lure. I don't know. I've seen some guys with some really organized tackle boxes, and I'm impressed. But a lot of times I'm like, I don't have enough space in my tackle box for that. Without getting a massive one again, There we go. I gotta chip the ice out of this hole here soon. It's getting a little icy. Just getting the line down there. First thing I ever caught on this lure, I don't know if I gave you a good look at it. First thing I ever caught was a herring. It's pretty cool to see those herrings around. I feel like I see them on my camera more than I catch them. But I do catch them every once in a while. And I like catching them. I think they're kind of nifty fish. All silvery and full of energy. Yeah, let's see if we can drum something else out of here before we gotta go. That'd be nice. It's like I'd caught. Oh, got a fish looking. Sorry, there's a fish looking there. I'm sort of forgetting to breathe. Looking. Maybe a real broad stroke on this guy here. There we go. I'm just gonna let this thing sit for a second. Feel like these fish are liking things that are just sitting still today. Yeah, thanks for showing up, Steve. It's great to get out here and be able to share a night like this when it's a little bit better than usual. You know, you gotta love those days where you go fishing and the fish are really aggressive and everything you throw down there catches something. But then I guess days when it's not like that, that's when you start to appreciate those really special days even more. I've definitely seen a few of those, but they're not every day. I don't know if it would lose its fun if the fish were just biting like crazy every single day of your life. I don't know. I'd probably still enjoy that. This guy's coming to look for it. Come on. I think this guy's looking at my lure and he's like, I don't see a minnow on there. The reason I don't usually put a minnow on these rattlers is it can sort of impede the action a bit. You know, sometimes I wondered if they should do like a... Oop. Okay, just my light around here. So we got another fish here. Sorry, it got really dark. Oh. There you go. It's a half decent perch on that same spoon setup. Okay. So if I didn't already have a bunch of perch on my porch, I could have been eating perch dinner. All right. Fire down another minnow. You know what? Everything's freezing up here. Okay. There we go. Pretty much, Lucas, all those perch that I've caught today, I could have been keeping. But like I said, I already got a whole whack of, not a whack, enough for a good meal on my porch right now. Like 5 or 6 nice jumbos. I don't want to keep too many. I like to keep them fresh in the lake. It's the charm of living on the lake. You have the luxury of doing that. So, who's who? When am I going to upgrade to the Panoptics? Tomorrow, I'm going to upgrade to the Panoptics, buddy. I'm just kidding. You know, maybe I will win the lottery, though. Then I'll be on that. I know it looks really good, and I've seen lots of videos, and it looks great. Hope you do well up there when you go, Joshua. You know, Simcoe was like I ice fished a bit when I was a kid in a few different small ponds and never caught anything. And then Simcoe was the first place that I tried again or gave it another shot. And we caught some perch. I guess the story of how I even got into ice fishing is that a few buddies of mine, we decided we're going to rent an ice hut from a bunch of guys in Innisfil on Simcoe there. And we went out and we didn't catch anything the whole time. We had a hell of a time. Which, you know, I'm sure everybody who ice fishes, that's the way it rolls. You always have a bit of a blast. No special times, but yeah, we each paid $40 per day, and then we didn't catch anything. We had a lot of fun, and then we just said to ourselves, like, you know, we paid enough for that trip that we can probably just get together and buy like a big hut and all the gear that we need to do it. And we did. And then we tried again. And looking back at my first overnight excursion on the ice, it was on Simcoe. We walked out. We didn't know anything. Total noobs. We're on like 5 inches of ice, which is okay. But the weight of every one of us inside the tent there pushed down on the ice so hard that the water was coming up all around inside the tent, which kind of sucked. I think that we didn't really catch shit all, but it was fun again. And then when I finally moved up to Nipissing up here, that's when I started using all that gear way more and ice fishing way more. And it's been a few years now. I think I'm heading on to 10 years of being up here. And yeah, ice fishing that's my winter. All right, so I'm going to go to 610. Taking it to 610. Yeah. No, I hear you there, Lucas. The only walleye I've caught today has been that one that was maybe 13 inches. So unfortunately not a keeper, but I've caught a few of them that size over the last week or two. And this is, mind you, I haven't been fishing like crazy or anything. Like my days of epic fishing are temporarily on delay. I'm sure once my son is into his early years, we'll be coming out for some serious fishing as often as we can. But now he's sort of like, you know, you get him out for a few hours, stuff like that. So that's my fishing world. But I must say that since I've been up here, yeah, I've definitely fallen for ice fishing in a pretty serious way. Darren, I believe I'm using probably a 15-pound braid with a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. Tends to be about the area I go with. Classic J. So does Erie ever completely freeze over, or is it just sort of like Ontario there, Lake Ontario, where you just get bays and whatnot? There's this stubborn fish down there. This is looking at my lure. He's not biting it though. Just gonna try to add a little bit of action to the spoon on the left. I feel like he bit it there. Yeah, that's the thing with these electronics. Sometimes I feel like they show you all the fish that don't bite. It's hard, as hard as they show you all the fish that do. In fact, I'd say you probably get to realize that 90% of the fish that come and check out your lure never end up biting it. So it took me about 20 minutes to walk out here from shore. So it's a bit of a stroll. I'd probably say it's about a kilometer offshore here. You know what though? When I'm walking out here and I look across the lake and I just see the sun shining off of the patches of ice on the lake, I don't mind walking out at all. I mean, I've always been really big into walking. I find it sort of like my meditation, and I can tell you, walking out a kilometer across the ice is a real pleasure. Yeah, maybe on one of my rods there, and I'll downsize it. I probably have like a 10-pound braid on one, and I do have like a 6-pound leader, and maybe I'll try that out on one of my rods next time I'm changing things out. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I definitely do. Yeah, a kilometer. It's a good walk on the snow. It's nice when it's packed. I've been fortunate enough to have Ray and my other neighbor Terry driving out here in their snowmobiles quite often, so I got a well packed trail, and that's nice. Um, and definitely dress for the walk. If it's not extremely cold, I try not to dress too thick, or else you'll be sweating on your way here. I swear this fish is just watching my lure like it's a TV. That's it. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna close the live stream now, and I should probably start heading home. I wish this fish would just bite, and I could end on a high note here. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna reel up my rattle reel here, but I'm gonna jingle that minnow and spoon combo there for another minute. Sorry. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty sweet. Walking home in this, I've got a really good headlamp, and you know what? My neighbor Terry there leaves on this great big miner's light on his shore, so that you know, I guess it helps you figure out how to get home. I can tell you that much. You know where you are if you can see that bright light. All right, so this is it. I will catch you guys in the next live stream, which will be next week sometime, possibly Thursday, possibly Friday. We'll see. Once again, I want to thank Ray for letting me use his hut. He might be watching, he might not. Have a great night, everybody. And if you're going to be fishing soon, good luck to everyone.